and he said something to the effect of, he's really ticked off about this. I would stay clear of him. He's really, really ticked off about this right now. Where I first noticed there was ketchup dripping down the wall, and there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor.
Late night tweets making headlines again. A few minutes after midnight, the president tweeted, "Despite the constant negative press, Kov Fief."
Breaking news. Ariana Grande just declared war on President Trump's ego. The Thank You Next singer tossed Trump's name in the garbage during her latest music video, and now the White House is in full meltdown mode. We've got the inside scoop on Trump's reaction, and let's just say it involves a lot of angry tweeting and some very unhappy hamburgers. Want to know what happens when a pop star takes on the most powerful man in the world? Keep watching. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Well, everyone get your popcorn and Twitter fingers ready because Ariana Grande just created a political playground out of her Monopoly video. It's also more entertaining than watching Trump attempt to pronounce Kafefe for the 100th time, I assure you.
Late night tweets making headlines again. A few minutes after midnight, the president tweeted, "Despite the constant negative press, Kov Fief." Kov Fief is now the subject of thousands of memes with Twitter users and celebrities alike tweeting about the strange message. Merriam-Webster even weighed in. There's often a lull, a delay between the first part of a tweet and the second part of a tweet, but not usually this long, and not usually when the first part of it is so utterly confusing.
At first glance, our tiny pop princess's music video for Monopoly appears to be just another catchy song to add to your playlist while working out. Hold on to your high ponytails though, because Ariana has a secret sequin trick up her sleeve. In an instant, Ariana throws Trump's name into the trash with no qualms. Yes, you heard correctly. She tossed the former president's name away as if it were a McDonald's used napkin. In the game of political Monopoly, what a royal flush. You may be asking yourself, is this a big deal? At this point, it's bigger than Trump's ego following a rally in Florida, I'll tell you that. The rise of social media was more rapid than you could say fake news. Twitter users were going crazy, posting things like Ariana Grande just made Monopoly great again. Trump is in the trash where he belongs, said another admirer. Ari for president in 2024. Can you even picture Ariana working in the White House? The White House would at least smell like girl power and cotton candy. The worst part, though, is how Trump will react to this musical middle finger. Crickets. Not at all. Nothing. Perhaps he was simply having a bad hair day, or maybe he was too busy playing real-life Monopoly with the nation. Who knows? We do know, however, that Ariana's devious jab is more than a publicity gimmick. It indicates that our pop stars are becoming more political and aren't hesitant to upset some people. In a ponytail, Ariana is demonstrating that she is more than just a pop princess. She is a political force. The entire situation is akin to an odd celebrity Jenga game. We're all watching to see if the tower will collapse when Ariana pulls out Trump's block. Will Trump post a tweet at last? Will Ariana release "You're Fired" as a diss track? It's killing us with suspense.
How did the president react to hearing that news?
Around the time that I understand the AP article went live, I remember hearing noise. So Mark went down to the dining room and came back to the office a few minutes later. After Mark had returned, I left the office and went down to the dining room where I first noticed there was ketchup dripping down the wall, and there's a shattered porcelain plate on the floor.
As we wait for Trump's Jenga tower to collapse, let's discuss Food Fight, another game that he seems to enjoy. When did you think wearing a tan suit was the most outrageous thing a president could do? Prepare yourself for a condiment disaster that will elevate your mom's spaghetti night to a fine dining experience. Imagine this. At the White House, today is just another day. Our boy Donnie is getting settled for lunch, which is his favorite presidential activity, most likely having dreams about Kafef and Big Macs. Then, more quickly than you can say fake news, something occurs that upsets Trump's stomach. Most people would now complain and perhaps tweet an angry emoji. Our grumpy Trumpy, though, his toddler mode kicks in. Folks, we're talking about an epic tantrum. What is his preferred weapon? An all-American ketchup glob. As soon as someone someone says, "You're fired," Trump's lunch is in the air. The intended victim, the immaculate wall of the White House. It's probably worth more than most of our homes, you know. The one with all that ornate historical wallpaper. Splat! Democracy smeared with Heinz red is gone.
Extremely angry at the Attorney General's AP interview and had thrown his lunch against the wall. And he said something to the effect of, he's really ticked off about this. I would stay clear of him. He's really, really ticked off about this right now. Which was causing them to have to clean up. So I grabbed a towel and started wiping the ketchup off of the wall to help the valet out.
What would it be like to work in the White House at that time? Most likely they are huddled in corners, chatting among themselves. Is this just another day in Trump's America? Someone asks. Someone else responds, "I didn't sign up for this kofef and ketchup nonsense." Sadly, they likely believed that Trump's tweets would be the worst thing they would ever have to deal with.
Look, I know that you're dissatisfied with me, and I'm glad to offer my resignation. And he pounded the table very hard. Everyone sort of jumped, and he said, "Accept it."
And Ms. Hutchinson, was this the only instance that you are aware of where the president threw dishes?
It's not. There were several times throughout my tenure with the Chief of Staff that I was aware of him either throwing dishes or flipping the tablecloth.
But who are this story's true MVPs? The cleaning staff. Now, these unsung heroes must overcome their most difficult obstacle to date. How can ketchup stains be removed from old wallpaper? They can't even Google how to clean up after a presidential temper tantrum. Perhaps they ought to have bought more of those incredibly absorbent sham wows. You have to wonder what Trump is thinking about when he has these outbursts. Is he saying, "Lincoln, take that, I'll prove to you who the greatest president is"? Or perhaps the statement is more along the lines of, "I'll make the White House red again." Whatever it is, our commander-in-chief obviously has the emotional maturity of a hungry child. Folks, here's the real deal. This crisis of ketchup, it's only the first course of Trump's meltdown menu. Yes, that came from somewhere else. Trump seems to be learning how to throw a fit 101 from a toddler's handbook. Folks, it appears that Ariana Grande has significant political clout in addition to her high ponytail. Who would have guessed that a pop princess would be so well known among voters? It appears that young people pay attention to what Ariana has to say, and not only to her appealing songs, but also to her political beliefs. She is leading a whole army of young voters to the polls, much like the Pied Piper of politics. The new sheriff in town has a much better vocal range, so move over, sour old politicians. Perhaps Trump should think about releasing a duet with Ariana, rather than tweeting the next time he wants to connect with young people. His voice might be able to hit those whistle notes though. Therefore, keep in mind that Ariana is serving democracy in addition to looks and bops the next time you see her perform live. In 6-inch heels, who says you can't make a difference?